Welcome to another episode of S.E.E, Support Entrepreneur Enlightenment, where we're going to help you guys think about what to do with your money. And I have today with me Randi Orzoff with Win-Win Real Estate, as well as Tim Haskins with Cardinal Financial. Thank you guys for coming. I just want to kind of give you an introduction on what what our goals are. Okay, so this is all, of course, sponsored by Tintwork, which is our own line of window film available on Amazon, as well as direct at tintwork.com/tint. But Tintwork is more than just window film. We also have a network of professional window tint installers who all share work with each other through our free app that we have. They make a lot of cash, they put it under their mattress, and they just work, And we wanted to kind of create this series to help entrepreneurs like window tinters get ideas on how to really maximize their money, because any kind of physical labor like window tinting, you're not going to be able to do it forever, so we want to help them think about what else to do with their money. So of course, real estate is one of our biggest suggestions. That's why we have you guys here today. So Randi, I'm going to start with you. There's a debate that Paul and I had initially at the beginning on do we buy a home to live in so that we're not just throwing money out the window with rent, or do we first start out with investment properties? What's your opinion on that?
I think buying a first-time home, you're going to have a lower down payment, you're going to have a lower interest rate, and you're going to be able to get started and own something. You're going to have your tax write-off for your interest on your loan, and it's going to be a little bit smoother. When you're going to an investment property, Tim will tell you need 20% down on the investment property, and the money, can be a substantial amount of money at 20% down on a $400,000 house.
Oh, okay. So you have to put more money down on an investment property versus where you're going to live.
Right. So if you're going to do an owner-occupied loan, you can get 3.5% interest rate on an FHA loan. There's down payment assistance programs. Mm-hmm. You can get a conventional loan with as low as 5% down. So there's different options for first-time home buyers versus an investment property. It does need a larger down payment.
Great. Okay. So either way, we're getting write-offs, but we're getting a much better deal on a loan in an owner-occupied versus an investment property.
Yeah. Unless you have a substantial amount of cash to put down the 20% and it's been in the bank account, seasoned for over 90 days.
Yeah.
Not just stuck in there. They have they have to source the money, Tim, right?
That's correct. You have to source your money. You have to know where it came from.
Yeah. So those entrepreneurs out there that have been stashing their money under the mattress, they can't just go grab like 50 grand, throw it in the bank, and then go buy a house tomorrow.
No.
No. What you're saying? Okay. Food for thought. Good for them to know. All righty. And then Tim, it seems like there's a lot of programs too right now for owner occupied where they might not even have to put any money down. Is that right?
That's correct. Whenever you're purchasing a house to live in, the guidelines and the requirements are far less than investment. The interest rates are much lower. There is no down payment assistance program for an investment property. And you can't get a gift to purchase a investment property. So if you're buying a primary residence and you want to get a gift from your parents, a close family member, you can get a gift and purchase a house when you're buying it to live in it. Investment property, you can't. So what Randi was saying is correct. If you're ready, there's nothing wrong with buying an investment property first, if you're ready. But most people, first-time home buyer, they need the assistance, and the assistance is not there on an investment property.
Oh, okay. Okay. So how does that work if they want to try one of these programs? Like, we have a lot of tinters with, big families. They're renting, like 2-bedroom apartments for a family of 5. They need to get into a bigger place, but they can't afford the rents. They don't have any money saved at this point. So how can they work with you then to get something where it's like no money down? How does that work?
That works through down payment assistance programs. I have a program that I prefer. It's a nationwide program in 49 states. It's not in New York, but how it works is with a 600 credit score, you can get into the program with as minimal as a 600 credit score. And if they're entrepreneurs, we need 2 years tax returns. So it's tax time now. Before they file their taxes, they need to get a free, no obligation, no cost consultation with me so that we can put them in the right direction of how to file their taxes. And so if they happen to be a wage earner, if maybe the wife is a wage earner and when the husband does tent, we can maybe look at the wife's income and get them going. They have to have 2 years on the job and we can get you going. But basically 600 credit score, get you in the program, and the program will provide you with enough assistance to cover the down payment, excuse me, the down payment and some of the closing costs. So they still have to have some money to cover closing costs. In this market, and Randi can verify this, the sellers aren't giving closing costs. So they want to be prepared to have some closing costs to get the deal done, but far less money only to cover closing, as opposed to having to cover down and closing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, everybody who is buying window film from Tintwork right now, I'm telling them, okay, keep these receipts. You know, are you claiming your taxes? You know, like, are you doing taxes? Are you filling them out? You know, are you doing your Schedule C, or, you know, have you set up a corporation? You know, I'm hounding everybody right now. I'm like, you got to have provable income because you're going to need a loan one of these days. You know, so I feel like their mother right now hounding them about that. But you know, it's so true, especially. Paul and I discovered that, you know, because we just started our businesses together when we got married over 6 years ago. And, you know, our first investment property that we wanted to get, it was like, we ended up having to get a hard money loan with 10% interest just to get our little condo out in Palm Springs to start out with. You know, because we didn't have 2 solid years, you know, with, you know, us as entrepreneurs with our own business of provable income. So it was a rough start. But then, of course, a year later, we got refinanced and, you know, it was all good. But
that's another option, a hard money loan, and holding on to it for a year and at least having a property now, because the properties are going up substantially every day. They're going up. Vegas has only about a 2-week supply of inventory, and depending on your price point, you know, they're going to want you to maybe pay a little bit more above an appraised value, things like that, which you can't do with a down payment program, right, Tim?
You can pay above, but you know, that's not the idea. The idea is to get into a home where you don't have to pay over, because you need assistance. So most people wouldn't have the money to pay over if they're going into a down payment assistance program.
Oh, okay, because the help wouldn't cover whatever is over the appraised value, so that they're stuck paying out of their own pocket. Is that right?
They would have to pay out of their own pocket.
Okay. Well, I mean, if they did have to pay over what it appraises for and they get the assistance, then, you know, they could just look at what the over part is the down payment. Maybe they can afford it that way. But I'm sure, you know, you guys are the dynamic duo that can work with them to figure out a way to make it work based on their needs. You know, and I think it depends too on not only the person's budget, but you know, what the prices are at the time. You know, here out in California, Paul and I ultimately had to make the decision on, well, we're not in the situation where we can, when we first got married, we can't afford to buy a home to live in, even though it's lower interest rates, less money down, you know, all of these things that Randi is saying are, you know, benefits to it.
Right.
You know, we still couldn't afford it because everything's just way too expensive in the Los Angeles area. So we chose to find less expensive areas like Palm Springs. And then ultimately with Randi, she helped us with the condo out in Las Vegas as investment properties first, so that we could get other people to pay our mortgages to then save up money. And now, you know, we're working towards, you know, getting our dream home that's going to be, you know, owner occupied. So
There's
That's
no
another,
one size fit all
right.
with mortgage and real estate. And you
Mhm.
brought up a very, very good point there. It just depends on where you are in the country
Mhm.
because the California market is very high. So
Mhm.
that was a very smart move to purchase investment property first in a lower at a lower price point somewhere else in the country, and
Yes.
then buy the dream home, like you said. So it just
Yeah.
it does. It's best to have a consultation. Best to have a
Yes.
consultation to see where you are.
Yeah. And then depending on how low it is, after 5 years now, I think, since we bought that condo, essentially with what we've made in rents, renting it out on month to month or whatever, furnished, which you get more for that way. I think we've
Right.
pretty much paid like what we paid for it cash, because it was so
Right.
cheap, like when we first got it. So now at this point, it's just all gravy. So I don't know if there's markets like that anymore around the country in other areas, but I know Vegas is like crazy high now, isn't it?
Median home price is about $435,000.
How much lower was it like a couple years ago?
150,000 lower.
Oh my gosh, that's insane. And
Right,
still,
the
like I
prices are
heard,
going up sale by sale right now. I mean, Tim
yeah,
sees it, he's on the mortgage side. And then people are outbidding people. And then, you've got to have a good agent too, to look at the comparables of the property to see where
mhm,
to write your offer at. And then, if you do have money to pay above an appraised value, I mean, that's a big positive.
yeah, yeah, but it's
Yes,
so competitive.
it's definitely this platform is great to talk to your tenters, your entrepreneurs. It's time to, I like to say, get in the game. It's time to get in the game. I can give my own personal testimony. I purchased, went into contract January of 2021, and it's not even been a year since I closed. I closed May 14th of 2021, and I just got an appraisal, and the property appraised $197,000 more. So
Wow.
you definitely want to get in there and take advantage of these appreciating while homes are appreciating.
Yeah, yeah, our Vegas condo doubled, over doubled, like,
Over
right
double.
now. So yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah,
how long was it?
I think it was about 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
We
Okay.
got it. Yeah, we were
mhm,
4, 5, something like that. I don't know. Maybe you remember,
You don't
Randy,
make
but
that kind of gain in the bank
right? Yeah, yeah.
or under the mattress.
Yeah, exactly. Not to mention, like everybody else like that's rented it has just paid for it. So it's just all gravy, at this point. I mean, it was a little, it's a bit of work. Of course, I don't want it to make it seem like it's, easy, but it is a bit of work to manage it, because we manage it
Mhm.
ourselves, but we can even, have somebody else manage it. And you do that as well, right, Randy? Or you have people on your team that can manage
I have
investment
people on
properties
my
for
team
people?
that do property management.
Yeah.
I oversee some of the property managements. You can have somebody do it for you. You do
Mhm.
monthly rentals, so you've got a little bit busier rental than just
Yeah,
renting to
yeah.
a full-time person. But that's another thing. Rents have gone up substantially in the last 2 years, like crazy high.
Yeah.
So even though you're buying a more expensive property, the interest rates are still low. They've gone up some, but the interest rates are still low enough that you can still positive cash flow on these properties with the rental rates the way they are.
That was actually, thank you, perfect segue. That was what I was going to ask about. I've heard, did they just go up? It's February 21st, 2022, just in case somebody doesn't see the date that this is posted. So did they just go up a little bit?
Rates have been ticking up weekly for the past couple months. So yeah, rates are on the incline. But I was on a mortgage call, a manager's call, and they did the analytics, the graphics. And if you go back pre-pandemic, we're right there. Our rates are the same as it was pre-pandemic. I always like to tell people, we love the low interest rates. Don't get me wrong. Everybody wants a lower interest rate. But in order for us to have historic lows like we had in the 2% range, the economy is in the toilet. That's when rates go down, is when the economy is bad. When the economy starts to do better, when it's doing better, your rates go up. Right now, you can get a mortgage in the 3% range, low 4% range. If you look back through history and time, where is 3 and 4% interest rate? Where's that bad? How is that bad? We've been spoiled with pandemic rates. So it's still a great time to purchase.
Yeah, when I bought my very first house in 1988, I got a great interest rate at like 8.5%.
Right.
So that was a really good rate to get.
Wow.
So I was happy
25 years ago when I bought my first home, my rate was in the 7s. So to have a rate in the 3s and 4s, we can't let the media hype get to us. They're still great rates.
Right.
They're still great.
So I've been curious about the math on it because, okay, now that the interest rates are going up, does that mean that maybe the prices on things are going to have to go down? We're slowly sliding now into a buyer's market instead of a seller's market because of the interest rates, or?
No, we have a 2-week supply of inventory. We, in the last week, we put 750 new homes on the market and we put 900 houses under contract. So we're selling more homes than we're listing in the Vegas Valley. So that's not changing to a buyer's market anytime soon.
Because, okay, I'm sure a lot of people are like me. We like bargains. You know, the way I was raised, you only want it if it's on sale or if you got a coupon for it. You know, that was how I was raised, you know. So, you know, we're kind of holding off a little bit because now that we know the interest rates are going up, we're expecting, you know, the bargains, the sales, or, you know, with all the pandemic stuff, like, isn't there supposed to be a bunch of people losing their homes and going into foreclosure? Like, where are the deals? Like, are there any deals coming up that you like project?
People put aside, they didn't pay their mortgages. They've gotten back on track with that. I get notice of default lists daily. I'm seeing maybe anywhere from 3 to 10 defaults, and most of those are getting fixed through mediation. What are you seeing, Tim?
So what I want to say is this: the deal is, where you get the deal at is that you don't have the landlord knocking at the door saying my property value just went up $200,000 and I'm giving you a 30 or 60-day notice, and then you don't have anywhere to go. I do loans all across the country. Southern California, rents are doubling, tripling. It's Rancho Cucamonga. I was just told a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment is $3,400. So the deal is, when you say you want a deal, the deal is don't have the landlord knock at the door and say get out, or pay $3,400 for an apartment.
Right. Yeah.
Solidify your home. Solidify a home and get the appreciation. The deal is when you can wait 12 months and cash out $100,000. That's the deal. So there's no deal with real estate on sale. It's going up. And unfortunately, we're in a market where typically, you're right, Pam, when rates go up, values go down, but we're in a strange place because there's no inventory. So now you got rates going up and you have property values going up. So this is a good call to educate people.
Yeah, and I've noticed a trend too since the pandemic that a lot of people are moving, and they might be moving for different reasons, but they're moving. You know,
everybody seems to be moving somewhere else.
Yeah.
Either they're going to be by family. The millennials are getting out of their apartments they were locked in for a year during the pandemic. They're buying homes now, so there is no inventory.
Yeah, so I think that's just what's creating a lot more of the need as well, is so many people are moving. I mean, I know in LA, like almost every other day we talk to somebody that says that they're moving, because California is just getting so ridiculous with their taxes and real estate and, you know, just expensive living here, that, you know, I already have 3 friends that are moving to Florida. And I'm like, wow, that's quite the coincidence. All pretty, you know, similar areas. So
Too expensive. Too
yeah,
expensive.
yeah. So I
And
think
here's another point from the mortgage standpoint. In order to get an owner occupied home, you have to live where you're purchasing at. So with the pandemic, what are people doing? They're working from home. So all I need is a remote telecommute letter. You can move to Florida. You can move to Georgia, where prices are much lower than Southern California. Still make your California paycheck if you're work from home. So that allows people to move. That's what a lot of people move as well. So if you are in that situation and you know someone in that situation, you can still buy a home in another area if you work from home.
And I do service Georgia also. Prices here are a little bit less. You can get a little bit more bang for your buck in Georgia. Georgia's market though is just about as hot as Vegas. We have about a 5-week supply of inventory versus 2 weeks. So Georgia has a little bit more. There's still multiple offers on the properties. You're still going to have to really work to get a house less than $400,000. That's kind of the cutoff point.
So with the interest rates changing, did you guys say like they're going to continue to go up from here? Or I mean,
the Feds announced they were going to do 7 rate hikes this year. So nobody knows what that's going to look like. Right now you can still get a rate in the 3s. And there's other strategies. If you have money, you can buy your rate down. You always have the option to buy your rate down, so you can spend money to buy your rate down.
So that would mean that you put more money as a down payment on the home in order to get a lower interest rate? Is that what you mean?
No, not more money down on the home. The down payment is going to be, if you're buying FHA, it's 3.5%. You have your standard closing costs, which are lender fees, title and escrow fees, any appraisal fee. And then you say, I qualify for a rate at 3.75%. And okay, but I want a 3.25%. And what I do is I look it up and I find out on that day that I lock the rate, what does it cost to buy the rate down to 3.25? There's going to be a cost associated. There's no rhyme or reason as what the cost is going to be. You just have to say, I want this rate. What is it going to cost me? It could be $6,000. So you have to bring an additional $6,000 to closing to buy that rate down if it's that important to you to buy it down.
So it's kind of like a service fee that the bank is offering, for this service fee, I will give you a lower rate. But in the long run, you end up saving a lot more than $6,000 in interest, right?
Yeah, my consultation would be, don't get emotional about a lower rate. I'm gonna ask you a question. How long do you plan on staying in the home? Well, this is my forever home. I'm never leaving. Well, I'm gonna do the math. If you buy the rate down, it's gonna save you $100 a month. And after I'll take that $100 divided by 6,000, and okay, your break-even point is 4 years. If you live in the home longer than 4 years and you don't refinance, that's your break-even point. So after that, it's all gravy. Okay. So you want to get proper consultation, because if you know I'm only going to be here 4 years, then don't buy the rate down.
Right. Okay. So it sounds like it just now is the time. People better hurry up and get in the game. And whether they're buying a owner occupied, to live in, or investment property, it sounds like, we're just an idiot for thinking that, the good deals are coming soon and we should just jump on this now.
Yeah, sooner than later.
All righty.
Tim and I both read a lot of articles. Nobody really sees this changing anytime soon.
No.
Wow. And it seems like it's all because of the demand. It just, the demand keeps proving that it's there regardless of, because there's already been 2 or 3 hikes.
Yes, there's been a few hikes already, but the supply chains, if builders can't build, the inventory just keeps getting lower and lower. We all hear about the inventory, the supply chain issues. So they can't build them fast enough.
Right.
There's a 5-year new home shortage. And then just for what's on our market right now, there's 2,085 single family homes on the market versus 6,000 or 9,000, but we've listed 700 in the last week. And we put in escrow 950 of them.
Right. But that's still like on average, like 4,000 at least less homes on the market than what it was like pre-pandemic, awesome interest rates, that kind of thing. Because it seems like within the last couple years, real estate has really like exploded. Were you expecting that to happen? Like when this pandemic happened, were you guys expecting to be this crazy busy?
No, I didn't expect it. It was an all-time high in real estate and mortgage. It was something that wasn't to be expected.
I honestly thought, okay, here comes the bargains. I'm glad we saved. I was ready for it. And then the bargains haven't come. And I'm like, okay, where's my bargains? And then I'm like, all right, well, I'm late to the game. I'm just going to jump in now, which is why I'm interviewing you guys. So thank you so much.
Now's the time to get a house, an investment property, anything. Now's the time to buy before these interest rates go up anymore, before the prices go up more. Now's the time to jump in the game and get a house.
Do you guys know the math? Like if something goes up, like say 0.5% or like a full %, what does that equate to like on your average home?
I did the math on a $400,000 home at a 2.875 interest rate, which we were in the twos, not too long ago, 2.875. Now at 3.875, same home, same area, there's a $214 difference in payment.
$214 a month extra that you're paying for that same home?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So the average mortgage is what, 30-year?
30-year mortgage, yes.
My math skills aren't the best, but I know that's way too much more money than I want to spend.
Definitely, but the cost of rent is going up. You got to look at the equity that you gain, the factors of the equity that you gain. But to answer your question, the basic question, you are paying $214 more, and if you have a static income, I mean, you make a certain amount of money, that's $214 less that you can pay, that you qualify for in a house. Fortunately, your people are entrepreneurs and they can control their income. So the last part that I want to interject is do the consultation and have a consultation prior to filing your taxes so that we can get you prepared to purchase. The biggest problem I'm seeing right now is people get excited about going to see a home and they're not ready. So get ready so that when you find that perfect home, you're ready to go.
And do they have to get pre-qualified for a loan before they can even look at homes, before they can
A
even
smart realtor would have you do that. There are a lot of agents that don't, but a smart realtor, and I think Randi, you're smart, right?
Yeah, I've done this for 23 years. I need you pre-qualified. I need a letter. We need to be ready to go with everything. I mean, if you're able to pay above an appraised value, we need to know, Tim needs to let us know how much can you pay above that so that we can write it into our offer and snag a property. And you don't want to get caught up in the rental game here. I mean, if I'm looking for a 3-bedroom house and single family home, there's 62 of them less than $1,700 a month. $1,700 a month will get you a nice house.
$1,700 a month in rent or in a mortgage?
Yeah, in Vegas, rentals right now. If you wanted to get a rental, a 3-bedroom house, that's it. Maybe not a newer one. I didn't put in garages. I didn't put in square footage. Just a single family home, less than $1,700 a month. There's 62 of them available.
See, and to me, that sounds like a good deal. in California. I'm like, oh, that's a really good deal. Especially what you were talking about in Rancho, being over 3,000. That's
But the
crazy.
problem with that is that you're going to pay an application fee every time you apply, and you're going to be competing with 100 applications.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
That's another thing. If somebody does want to rent a house, it's another thing. I go ahead and find out a lot of these companies collect 100 applications and keep all the application fees. So I have my one girlfriend spent $1,200 on application fees before she was accepted for a rental. Some of them do it in order. Our company, if you put in your application and you're approved for it, you get the property. We go in order of receiving the applications. So what I do is I look for those properties, call on them. If there's no applications in, I would send somebody an application immediately. They're only renting the house. Don't have to worry about going to see it because it'll be gone before you go see it. Put your application in, you get it accepted. We can go look at your house. So I try to work with the companies that are doing them in order of receiving the applications, because the other companies are collecting thousands of dollars in application fees and they're weeding through the clients. And if you don't have the best credit score, or if you've, got a couple dogs or something, you're going to be looked at maybe a little different. Right. So our company, if you apply, you've got dogs, whatever, you qualify through our system, you get approved and you get your house. So, and that's one of the things we can search for on rentals. But, now at that point, what you're doing is you're paying Pam's mortgage for her and you're not getting a write-off for it. And Pam's getting her write-off for her fees, for her interest and her taxes. And you're just giving her your money. So
right now that same 1,700, if we turned that into a mortgage, Tim, would you? You're the numbers guy. Like, if somebody was paying 1,700 a month as their mortgage, the interest rates now, what would that rough out to in buying power for a place?
It's going from area to area depending upon tax, insurance, but I would $1,700 a month with today's interest rate would get you about $300,000.
Okay, so yeah, you may not get but a 3-bedroom home isn't going for 300,000.
No,
right?
It's
There
not.
might be a few in Vegas, but they're more, the 3-bedroom's going to be more in the 400,000 range.
If I look up a 3-bedroom home, 300,000 and less, it's active on the market right now. It's kind of a staggering number. It's 83 houses that are less than 300,000 with 3 bedrooms.
Okay, so it is possible for someone to take what they would be paying, 1,700 a month in rent, and put it towards a mortgage instead. Have Tim use his amazing skills in Vegas to, maybe even get them into that program where they don't even have to put any money down, and they just have a little bit of savings, obviously, for closing costs and stuff like that. So they got to have some money saved. And now, yes, they've got some equity instead of just throwing their money out the window, paying someone else's mortgage, i.e. rent. So it's doable right now in Las Vegas. So that's awesome.
And you can be sure that that rent of 1,700 is going to be going up again next year.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Versus a mortgage where you get locked into a fixed rate for at least a certain amount of years.
30 years.
Right?
Most
30 years.
30-year fix.
Oh, okay, nice. Sorry, I'm thinking about investment properties where it's 5 years and then it's, who knows what it's going to be. Yeah, got it. It's a little bit different with that. So awesome. Wow, I certainly learned a lot today. And when we get done with this interview, I think I'm going to start looking at properties again with you, Randy.
We'll find something. I've been super aggressive on the offers.
Yeah, because I think we're ready to invest in one more before these interest rates go up any higher. So hopefully this gave everybody watching some more food for thought, and stay tuned because I've got even more experts that I'm going to interview on more ways that you can find to invest and get your money to grow while you're working hard.